The Cheating Death Podcast is a comedy, random, and truth-seeking podcast that contains information, subject matter, language, and course material that may not be suitable for all listeners. This podcast is not red versus blue. It's about me and you. If you have any comments, email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we bring Roswell 1947 into the spotlight. We provide you with an all-new top 5 list of hot sauces. We give you an all-new Annihilation Announcement, a joke of the episode, and more. So, dear listener, you know what to do. Grab your coffee, grab your blanket, put your feet up, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. We look over the course of time at numerous situations and circumstances to which are not easily explainable, things that do not make sense to the rapid mind, things that do not make sense to the seeing eye, things that do not make sense to the body as you are processing the situation you are experiencing. There are numerous situations to which you could find yourself in, dear listener, that you may have to dig deep within the crevasses of your soul and come out with a solution. Some of us are facing these situations daily, but what separates fact from fiction is the occurrence of an event. Understand, you are not alone in your plight, and remember that I am your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this has been your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tag, eine gute Nacht. Hier ist deine Reisender, deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser, deine Cleric of Chaos. Roswell, 1947. A military weather balloon is blown to bits in the air and falls to the ground upon a farmer's field late one evening in 1947. Immediately upon the ground reaching the combination of the debris melding with earth, it was almost instantaneous to where government officials, top-level CIA and military declassified organizations were on their tail to get their way to Roswell, New Mexico to understand just what this farmer had found. The subsequent years, decades of leading conspiracy and discussion among leading scholars as to exactly what was found in Roswell and why some people may feel it is in Area 51 to this day. The incident in Roswell 1947 took place in Roswell, New Mexico, outside of a farmer's field. It was alluded to that the reason this incident took place was due to a malfunctioning military weather balloon, that the debris that was recovered was that of a dead, deceased, no longer existing surveillance device. However, dear listener, this has been widely purported to be, dare I say, bullshit over the years, because Roswell, New Mexico has maintained a beautiful level of interest over the course of the past 60-plus years of sheer terror, sheer chaos, sheer panic that was brought upon that one night in 1947. After military officials had secured the debris from the farmer's field, the farmer was ordered to a level of confidentiality, which he immediately broke by discussing this with his family. The leading researchers involved in the examination of the military weather balloon debris were sworn to secrecy, made to sign non-disclosure agreements, made to maintain an air of complete confidentiality. It was during this time that a lot of people were highly speculative as to exactly what the reason and the nature for the hidden information was for. After all, if it was only just a military weather balloon, those exist. People were pretty well aware of them in 1947. One would argue that, military weather balloons were a pretty good stable point in World War II. But why now? Why in 1947? Why is the United States government and the United States military making such a cover-up? Why are they trying to hide what very well may be there? Well, dear listener, the answer may be simpler than it seems. Mass hysteria in situations that require tact must be avoided. 1947, televisions hadn't been around for all that long. Radios had been the staple point of entertainment for a very long period of time. And it was through these mediums that people first heard about the Roswell 1947 incident in conjunction with popular newspapers like the Los Angeles Times and the New York Times. Roswell was not a cover-up for the sake of it being a cover-up. Dear goodness, no, dear listener. Roswell 1947 was a cover-up of epic proportion due to the fact that there is still high speculation as to whether or not it was indeed military weather balloon debris or not. In fact, in 1978, a couple of professionals and a couple of laureates came forward to suggest that the 1947 incident had been highly covered up, had been highly speculative, and had been completely and outright lied about. Falsified government data reports, specifically for the intention of keeping the masses at bay. 1947 would have been a crazy time for the government to admit that aliens exist, especially 2 years after the World War II just ending. It would have been an absolutely hectic, tumultuous, chaotic, overburdened time for anyone and everyone to function if they would have admitted that the weather balloon in Roswell, New Mexico was an alien or was a body from another entity or another dimension. The amount of people that would have gone absolutely bonkers at that, it more than likely would have led to the collapse of the American economy in some way, shape, or form. Hence why, even to this day, the CIA, the FBI, and even the military-industrial complex are still adamant and vehement that this was just a military weather balloon. Dear listener, what do you think of the incident of Roswell 1947? By all means, email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. At the top of the episode, we promised you another top 5 list, so without further ado, our top 5 favorite hot sauces. Let us dive right in. Coming in at number 5, we have Frank's Standard Red Hot Sauce. Coming in at number 4, we have Frank's Buffalo Thick Hot Sauce. Coming in at number 3, we have Ghost Pepper Sauce. Coming in at number 2, we have Tabasco. And coming in at number 1, the ubiquitousness of the Sriracha Sauce. What is your top 5 favorite hot sauces? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. The topic of death has a tendency to become prevalent over the course of time, and burial methods are often considered and discussed. Me personally, I'd like to be cremated because it'll be my last chance to have a smoking hot body. Yes, Roswell was a very beautifully crafted incident, a textbook example into what can happen when the government decides to stick their nose where it doesn't belong once again and decides to create a story that has next to no validity to it and has become so diluted over the course of time that very few people really even know exactly what happened in Roswell in 1947. But rest assured, dear listener, you, having heard this podcast, have a little bit more of an insight for you to dive deeper into the alien world if thou shalt choose. Thank you for tuning in to us today. Take care of yourself and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast has been brought to you by Nach dem Leben CRDVC, Chaos Realm Records, and CR Deutschland. We are available on all major podcasting platforms. If you would like to support the program, you may do so at buymeacoffee.com/clericofchaos with a one-time donation, or you may go to linktr.ee/clericofchaos to book yourself a $10 cameo, or book yourself a music lesson, or an upcoming meeting for your artistic or business project. If you or anyone you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, please have them call 1-800-273-8255 or dial 988 from their mobile phone in the US or Canada. Please visit the links in the episode's description to follow our friends, consultants, and fellow producers of the program. And if anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, have them call 1-800-799-7233. And if you're looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Remember, winter is hell, but that does not mean that you cannot give that hell right back to it. Remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.